Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Veracity Satire. I'm your host, Veracity, and today we're going to be talking about people who have a sense of entitlement. That's right, bitches. I'm going to be talking about all those kids today who think the whole fucking world should be handed to them on a fucking platter. Having a sense of entitlement refers to individuals who have unreasonable expectations about what they are entitled to in life. They believe that things should just be given to them and not earned. That they are inherently deserving of privilege for no other reason than because they are alive. Older generations accuse the youth today of acting too entitled. But are you guys retarded? Number one, if the youth is entitled, it's your fucking fault for raising them that way. Why are you getting mad at them and making them feel guilty now for your own poor parenting? And number two, how fucking stupid can you be that you actually believe human beings are not entitled to a quality life? Now don't get me wrong. In the system we presently live in, which is a capitalist system, people are not entitled. And older generations are right. Shut the fuck up and get a job, young people. But objectively, better social systems can exist than capitalism. And the youth are becoming aware of this, and they are beginning to take action towards it through their entitlement. Even though the capitalist system insists that people get a job, make money, and shut the fuck up, objectively, this is not how life should operate. At our core, we are not citizens. We are human beings, animals of nature. And when we begin to conceptualize ourselves again as spiritual animals instead of capitalist citizens, we begin to realize that we actually are entitled to everything on the planet, and that everything should also come easy. Just as natives operated, land, food, water, and leisure was free. You only had to put a little effort in obtaining them. The younger generations today are waking up to the fact that they are being systematically oppressed. They are beginning to realize that the consumer paradise set up by their ancestors is nothing more than an advanced system of slavery. And to be honest with you, I agree with them. I cannot believe we live in a world that raises its citizens, its own children, to believe that they are not entitled to anything. Not land to live on, not food to eat, not water to drink, not even a job to make money to obtain those things. Fuck, we don't even teach people that they are entitled to God's love. For even in religion, they are taught that they must earn their way into heaven. Religion is obviously responsible for many flawed ideologies still operating in today's world. However, religion is a topic for another day. For now, we need to only question why human beings are being told they are not entitled to anything on the earth that they were born on. If you don't consider this being born into slavery, what would you call it? Slavery can exist in more forms than just this, you know. What the older generations do not understand is that young people are fed up with this world. Younger generations value different things today, and that does not mean they are entitled. It means that they have merely learned from their ancestors' mistakes. They are fed up with your policies, your lies, your propaganda, your promise of the American dream that never actually comes true. The youth are looking back at their ancestors, and they are seeing that money does not make people happy, and therefore they're not driven to get jobs. They're not driven to participate in this society. They do not want to become a slave. They would rather have an easier life, making less money, than working away their whole lives in jobs that bring them no real sense of purpose, so that they can buy things that bring them no real sense of purpose. And how do we respond to our children? We scold them. We make them feel guilty for not being happier about the world we have set up for them, that we are leaving behind for them. You see, because in reality, we're actually sad. We're getting defensive. We are offended that they do not appreciate the hard work we spent in making the world that they have. They do not realize how the world used to be, we tell them. But the younger generations don't think about it this way. They didn't live in the past. They live in today. They are seeing the problems of today. And just because you cannot see the problems that they see does not mean they do not objectively exist. In reality, you should be proud of your children, because as a result of all the liberations you brought forth in your day, our children are now becoming aware of even more injustices that they face in their own time. And they want to pursue them just like you did in your day. But their way of doing this is a bit different. Their way of doing it is by acting entitled. By expecting everything to be given to them is their way of resisting doing hard work. It's their way of resisting feeling enslaved to a system that they know does not care about them at the end of the day. Depression, anxiety, and prescription pill sales are at an all-time high, and people look at the younger generations as if they are in the wrong, as if they are the crazy ones because they can't handle the reality around them. People are not born depressed. They are not born with anxiety. These are problems that develop over time as a result of exposure to unfavorable circumstances. The society you are born into shapes who you are, so if mental illness is increasingly becoming characteristic of capitalist societies, then perhaps we should stop blaming individual citizens for these problems and start looking at the society's construction in which these citizens are raised, which create the psychological disease in the first place. You have to understand, capitalism is an economic system, not a humanitarian system, meaning that we do not live in societies that aim to maximize human happiness and human potential, but rather live in societies which aim to increase economic profit at all costs. And yet, what do we call people who do not want to participate in this system? We call them entitled and lazy. How funny that people that defend the system, on the other hand, are called heroes. If that's not propaganda, I don't know what is. I don't care what the world has told you, or what you have come to believe. At the end of the day, we are entitled to our share of the world. But instead, we have to pay for the land we live on, the food we eat, toilet paper to shit, condoms to fuck, a casket to even fucking die in. Nothing about our world is how it should be. And we know this. We all do. We all know this. And yet for some reason, we still choose to get mad at our younger generations for not being happy with it. Why? Why do you want them to be so miserable? Instead of calling the younger generations entitled, why don't you instead take responsibility for the shit-fucking system you created and stop blaming them for wanting something more? They can't help that you're locked into your old-fashioned ways of thinking, your habits, and your stupidity. They're not lazy. They're not entitled. They're merely lacking purpose to pursue something more that gives them a sense of satisfaction that allows them to feel like they're living life and not being a robot. Basically, you are upset with the younger generations because they are blaming you for a world that you don't see a problem with. And because you cannot accept responsibility for something you don't see as being a problem, you have to blame them. You have to call them entitled. Real mature, guys. You resist the youth because you only have 10 to 40 years left on this planet, and you don't want to go through the drastic revolutionary shifts it would take to restructure society into something healthy. It's too much work, and you're in the process of becoming senile. So, I mean, obviously you would rather spend the next 30 years of your life the same way you've spent the last 50. So, I mean, yeah, I get why you don't want to do anything. You're too built into your habits, and doing anything different is going to be a lot of fucking work. However, the young want to change, and to halt them, and to call them entitled, and to make them feel guilty is ridiculous. You old people are such bitches when it comes to change. This is why nobody likes you. Well, boys and girls, that's all we have time for today. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them below. Until next time, please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.
What are you waiting for? Do it! I love my dick on expensive. Just do it! Told my daddy I was gonna grow up to be a superstar, up making big money, know what I mean, girl. But my daddy told me I was living in a dream world.